All right, we are at the end of the sprint 23rd on June 5th, 2019, and we have several demos today. We have Philippe who will do a demo about the Scale integration, and then Edgar, and then Lucas. So Philippe, you can get started now.
Cool. Hi, so my name is Philip Goff. I'm one of the engineers on the 3Scale team working on this Istio integration, along with Alex, who's also on the call. So I'll just explain what it is that we're actually doing first. So Istio exposed this way to for Mixer to call out to various backends, infrastructure backends. So the adapter is a way for existing 3Scale customers who want to use 3Scale with Istio to do that right now. And that is done. So basically, it's a gRPC server, and 3Scale itself exposes some APIs that are used to authorize and report on various traffic. So to simplify things, the adapter acts as a client to those APIs. So that's just a brief introduction of how that works. I think I said in the email thread that some of you may have seen this. Talks on more API management features coming natively to Istio, but as of now, this is how we're doing this integration. So I'm here to kind of demo the work that the Kiali team have done on making this integration easier, because there is to get the adapter integrated with 3Scale, there's a number of custom resources that need to be created. There's an instance handler and a rule. So the handler basically holds the secret information that a user would need to contact the 3Scale APIs. The instance then is what our adapter will receive after Mixer has parsed the request, and the rule is the glue that ties them all together. So the rule will specify what handler and instance to use and when a service should be managed by 3Scale, basically. So I'm on the Kiali dashboard here, and I'm just going to quickly show how this integration, how they made this integration easy. So we go to the Services tab, and we click on the service that we want to integrate, which in this case with the product page. Then we'll jump down here, and so there's already an existing rule, update 3Scale API management rule. And we pass it the service ID, a system URL, which I'll get to in a minute, and the access token, which is the secret needed to call those APIs. So I'll jump over to 3Scale now for a second. And here we have like this Hello World API, which is like a service created in 3Scale. And I've gone up here and selected this service mesh integration. So typically what this might look like would be Appicast by default, where the request will come into 3Scale and will be proxied off to some backend that you can set here in the configuration. But with the service mesh integration, obviously the service is in the mesh, and 3Scale can be deployed elsewhere, so it has no may have no access to that. So that's just briefly explaining the difference there. We just select some authentication, and just for ease of demo purposes, I've picked this user key here. We also do like an app ID and an app keep here, and we've in the last release added the OpenID Connect flow, which looks a bit differently. Actually, we can talk about that after. And so I'll just doing some configuration here of metrics and mapping rules. So we need to create some mapping rules that will match a pattern and adjust the metrics or methods accordingly. So jumping back to Kiali here, this and into the Istio config, we'll take a look at the virtual service. And the virtual service has a match also for the product page. So that's how those two will be linked up. So after we've created that integration here, we'll see the service linked with 3Scale API handler demo. I'll jump over to the OpenShift console for a second. and just take a look at those resources. So we have a instance which exists here, and this just kind of defines how that we will parse the incoming request into specific properties. We'll have the handler, and the handler, as I said, holds the secret information on how the adapter will contact TreeScale when this request comes in, and we'll have the rule. Okay, so this shows the match condition when we should match the what request we should match to, and we can see here that these attributes say destination, it's a book info, and the service name is a product page. And the nice thing about that is with the Kiali integration, we know that information up front. So it's good to be able to leverage that. That was an issue that we were kind of having, because to make this more generic, we need to add get an end user to add some labels to the pod template spec, and that takes a bit more configuration to this. So it's nice to be able to quickly do this. So jumping down here into the terminal, I'm just going to curl that product page to show that the integration hopefully is working. And we see then that the adapter has been called and has refused the request because there's no auth credentials. So I'm just going to hopefully make a successful request there. So I'm passing the user key, which we saw again in the instance, and hopefully it's valid. And we should get back the response from the service running in the mesh. So that's pretty much it, and we can take some questions now or after if anyone's interested.
All right, thanks, Philip. I guess there's no question, not seeing in the chat at least. So I guess Edgar, next.
Yes, okay, let me share my screen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't see your screen yet, but
Okay.
yep.
Okay, it should be there.
Yep.
And right. So I only have small items to show. Everything that I have to show is very small improvements. So I will start with the details pages. One of the things that we added here in the details pages is the duration menu in the listings. Probably this wasn't available. It's only affecting how the health is calculated. It's the time span of the data to calculate the health. So you can see that now one of the legend is the error rate over last 1 minute. So you change it to last 10 minutes, and it will calculate the health over that time span. Probably it was only 10 minutes, so this was a little limited in the sense of how much data was taken to calculate the health. The same option was added to the details page of the workloads. Here you can see exactly the same drop down. It will also affect this legend and how much data is taken to calculate the health. This dropdown was added to all services or to all listing pages. So you have already in workload services and applications also, and also on all the details pages that Kiali has available. The second thing that I have to show, this is just a small improvement in the usability. So you remember the inbound and outbound metric stubs. We have added a legend here to make it clear that data is not available to draw the charts. just to make it clear, because previously it was just showing some empty graph, so it wasn't clear if it was like an error or something failed. So this is just making explicit that there is no data available. In this case, the workload is an HTTP workload, so it doesn't have any TCP metrics. So this thing happens if you go to a TCP workload, for example, the MongoDB, you will get no data for these ones, but you will get the TCP ones populated. Just to make it clear, just small improvement. Another small improvement in usability is the show on graph. The animation is a little more slow, so you can more clearly see what the focused node. It also has some kind of bouncing effect. So let me do that again. If you click show on graph, you get the animation slightly slower than before. Hopefully this will make it easier to see what the focused node. It's already focused, so you can switch and see that this is the focused one. Okay, another not so calidad improvement, but perhaps for some screens is good, is that we are now using a fixed head for this help dialog of the graph find and hide feature. So if you switch to another tabs with more content, it will display a scroll bar instead of increasing the height of the dialog. This was made to improve usability on small screens. Yet another improvement when you drill down in the graph, you now get the graph title updated. This will make it clear what you are seeing, because sometimes you might play a little with the graph and you will lose focus of the drill down item. So at least you can know see exactly what you are seeing or what Kiali is displaying. And it might be more clear for the cases where you are, for example, focusing an edge node, because Kiali will provide this centered graph, but the item you are focusing is the last one. And instead, sometimes you might use this one and will look more like a little more centered. So the title is just provide some more, it's making it more clear what you are seeing. Another thing I have is the sorry, is that we changed the tooltips being used in the overview cards. Previously we had tooltips, but were native tooltips of the browser. So the tooltips were delaying a little more to show up, and people sometimes didn't see it immediately. So we switched to using pattern-free tooltips. We can control the behavior of this kind of tooltips, so we can make it clear that these are links to other pages of Kiali. And lastly, I think that this is a nice improvement. We added a new context menu on the graph itself. So if you click with the secondary button of the mouse over a node, you will get this new context menu that will let you navigate to other pages of Kiali. You will navigate to the details page of the clicked node, and so that you have the full loop between going to the graph and the details pages. So Well, that's it. What I have to show. Nothing else.
Thank you. Well, just for everyone, as I watch this, at Red Hat Summit, we drove a UXD review with like beta testers who didn't know about Kiali, and they were the exercise to make them try things on Kiali. And as a result, there were suggestions from the UXD team to improve some of the usability. And I think most of the feedback has already been integrated within the month. So congrats to the team. Now, yes, Lucas is next and last.
Yeah, let me to share my screen. Okay, can you see my monitor?
Yes.
Okay, great. What I would like to show you is just some improvement that we are working on this sprint for continue to adding or manipulating the configuration of Istio in an easy way from Kiali. So as you can see in previous sprint, we introduced the actions on the services, basically just to create very high level driven routing without entering into the details of what a virtual services is or what a destination services is. But now what we have introduced is to add more short advanced options. So for example, now this is something that we have in the previous features, is that we can just do, for example, just to use the wizard to generate product page match. Here I want to redirect all the traffic from the product page to the product page version 1 workflow. This is okay, but one of the missing pieces that we need is just how to link this with gateways or with more advanced options. So for that, what we are doing is that in the short advanced option, we are improving the variable field that we can now offer to the user, and now we can, for example, just to modify the virtual service host, right? We can also to modify the TLS or the security configuration. And also new feature that we are going to add on this sprint is that we can easily to link one service with a gateway, and we can just to check, okay, I want to add this rule to a gateway. I would like to select existing gateway from that I have in my namespace in other namespace, or I can just create a new one. For example, in this case, as you can see, now I can see a virtual services, but now it's linked automatically with a gateway. So this is in a just clicking in the wizard the option. I can also to update this configuration. For example, if I want just to remove or to change a different gateway, something that I can do as well, or I can, for example, just to disable the gateway and without just to modify manually the YAML, just to try to help the user in the configuration of the HTML is the most simple way that we can offer to them. In this case, for example, I just remove the gateway, and this service is just rooted inside the mess. Another option that we are going to offer is to improve the option for load balancing. So in the previous sprints, I could just, for example, generate a new rule for weighted route right easily for this one. In the reviews services, I want just to balance the weight of my routine in this way. But now, for example, inside the workloads, if I have more than one replica, and I would like also to define how the load balancer within the replica may work. For example, before to that, we have the only support for the simple options, just to select what is the algorithm that we're going to use, the least connected, the round robin. But now we can also enable to do more advanced, consistent hashing. So I can just give, for example, what is the HTTP header uses just to do more advanced hashing for this, or I can also to tell it what is the cookie to keep that balancing with the TLL value, or I can just use the source IP. So this is just from the advanced options. That's something that I can just modify. I can create it, and I can see that now the destination rules. Okay, I have updated all information about the load balancing, but from the wizard, and as defined it, I can also update this information from here. I can go back to a simple algorithm, for example, the least connected. I can update it, and I can see how I can modify the destination rules. Yeah, that's it. It's something that we expect to include this feature at the end of the sprint, and to be ready for the user to get more feedback about how these features are helping you. Okay, that's all from my side.
All right, thanks a lot, Lucas. Yeah, I don't think there's any comment. No one else. Anything he wants to present? Ready to present? We have a few minutes left. Going once, going twice. All right. So thanks everyone, and see you in 3 weeks. Next sprint. Bye.